Welcome into today's broadcast right here at Cog Hill Farm. Now, Peaches wouldn't let Nugget into the house for this episode, so here's Jason, Brooke, and our chicken master, Marycarl.
All right, this is another episode of the Cogcast podcast. This is episode number 36 of the Homesteading podcast here on YouTube and all your favorite podcast apps. This is Jason and Brooke, a.k.a. Mrs. Cog Hill.
That's me.
Marycarl decided again to take the night off. We have been recording these things fairly late. I think it's almost 8 o'clock now, so she's pretty tired. Come about this time for the most part. So we let her have the day off.
Yeah, she asked me earlier. She said, what's it going to be about? I said, I don't know. If you've got something you want to talk about,
bring it on.
Bring it on. I said, what about the hookbill duck that hatched in the last video? And she said, it won't be steel. She said it's squirmy and it won't be steel. And she didn't want to have to sit here and try to hold it and talk about it. So that's why she's not here, because she really wants to talk about the hookbill, but it can't sit through a podcast.
I got a feeling if we're going to do a podcast about the hookbill and it's early, she'll bring it. I think it's just she's tired.
Well, that was what she told me.
And it was a hot one today.
Oh, my gracious, was it? I didn't spend much time outside.
I don't know what the heat index was today, but it was by far the hottest day so far. We've had some hot ones, but today was rough. Really rough.
Well,
yesterday was rough. Today was rough. You know, I've been trying to do a lot of stuff very early in the mornings.
That's right. Marycarl and I picked up some things for the green stalk to be planted today while you were editing your video.
I was editing the video.
And we went to town, and, you know, flowers in 6-packs have been few and far between.
Yeah, did we talk about this before? No, I swear. Maybe we just talk amongst ourselves, but 6-packs, not beer, but 6-packs of flowers are non-existent.
Well, we went by some of the big box stores, and nobody had anything, and this was yesterday. So we contemplated driving over to Prattville or Montgomery to one of the bigger box stores and seeing if we could find something, because our pansies that are planted in our 2 green stalk planters down at the garden, they have seen their better days.
It's just too hot for them. They're not made for this type of weather.
Well, we didn't want to pull them up when they were looking so beautiful.
No.
But it's almost like overnight when the temperatures hit their peak.
It's been rough.
They said, and so we've had a hard time finding anything.
We have had a hard time finding stuff.
And we were to the point today where we said, hey, if we can't find anything, we're going to run over to Montgomery or Prattville and see if we can't find some plants to go in the green stalk. So Jason was editing his video. Marycarl and I ran to town, and they just so happened to get something in that will work.
Yes.
It's not a 6-pack, though.
It was a 4-pack.
But that's still better than most of the time you're finding little 4-inch pots.
And they're like $4 a pot.
Yes.
$4 and $5 a pot. And the green stalk, you got 2 different ones. You got the original, which is a 5-tier. It has 6 planters per tier, so that's 30 plants.
30 plants, and it's beautiful when it's planted.
But
you can't possibly pay $4 a hole at $120.
No.
Times 2 is $240.
No,
and so I just was willing to drive to find something in a bigger quantity than a single plant.
Used to, we could buy 6-packs. You could buy a flat of plants for, seems like $30.
I don't know if they got smart and just decided that they were going to eliminate the
well, you know, we got, there's another
way?
green stalk that's out that they kind of made for herbs and flowers is what they call it. The original one is leaning towards more of your vegetable stuff. It could work for either one. But the newer one is a smaller planter per se, but it holds more plants. It's a 6-tier. No. Yes. It holds 42 plants. I know that. It's it's a 7-tier with 6 holes.
It's more holes, but it's shorter.
7 tiers, and it's 6 plants, 6 planting holes per tier, so that makes 42 plants. And we want to do an herb garden, and we got one in the back. We got 3 total, and we use them all the time. We love the green stalk planters. Love them.
Well, they just add so much. They're beneficial for herbs because you can step out your back door and have
That's
fresh
right,
herbs.
and that's what we wanted to do. Remember, that
was our initial purpose of the green stalk.
That was the initial purpose of getting this next one we haven't put together yet because we were going to buy herbs for it. And I was thinking I could just buy a few 6-packs of herbs and get this thing filled up. No, they're all $5 a pot. And that's when we said, to heck with that. We just seeded our own herbs, which is taking us, which it would have set you back about 6 weeks if you want to do it that way. And that's what we're doing.
Well, next time we'll know and we'll plan
Next
ahead.
time we'll know.
But what we ended up buying is portulaca. Isn't that what it was?
That's what it is. Sorry, y'all.
It's a heat-loving annual,
yes.
And it will cascade down the side of the green
It's
stalk.
going to be perfect. And
they're in these beautiful, vibrant colors. And when Marycarl and I saw them, first we were kind of like, huh. And then we said, they're in a 4-pack.
Yes.
And so it was like there were a bunch of little singles here that were $1.50 a piece.
Right.
And then you could get the 4-packs for like $2. So that's what we did.
And so that worked out. And you was probably getting around how hot it was.
Well, yeah, that's what I was getting to.
I had finished installing my drip irrigation today. I had half my garden done today. I did the rest of it. And I started early in the morning. But come 9:30, I was just wringing wet. And it was extremely hot by 9:30. Extremely hot.
When I brought the plants home, Jason was coming down to turn his drip irrigation off.
Yes.
And I said, hey, do you want me to get these plants out of the car? Because I knew they couldn't sit in the hot car with, the heat just trapped in the car. And so I literally got them out of the car, went and handed them to him. It was 16 4-packs is what I bought. So I took 4 in each trip. So I made 4 trips. Not too far.
Yeah.
And I was wringing wet.
Well, you brought them to me, and I had been inside for about a good 3 hours.
It was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but it was hot.
And then when you brought them to me, I said, well, heck, I'm rested. I've been inside. I'm cooled off. I'll just go ahead and plant these suckers in the green stalk planter. So I took the green stalk planter apart and pulled out the old dead pansies, topped off with a little bit of potting soil, put the green stalk back together. I'm talking about 45 minutes tops, maybe. I
asked Marycarl, I said, where's your daddy? And she said, I don't know. And I said, go look out the front door and make sure he's still vertical. And she did. And she said, Mama, he's planting the green stalk. I said, has he lost his mind?
Well, I got it because I didn't think it was that bad at the moment. But I'm telling y'all, about 3/4 of the way through, I wish I hadn't have done it.
Well, I will tell you that I have been keeping a watch out on the weather, and it does say that cooler temperatures are ahead for next week.
Good. And I will say this, we haven't had rain in 3 weeks. 3 solid weeks, 0. We're getting around 21, 22, 23 days with not a drop of rain. So it's extremely dry. We've gone from one extreme to the other. We've gone from it raining 90% of the time since December.
That's right.
To now 0, nothing.
Well,
and the forecast, 10-day forecast it's changed.
Well, tomorrow there's a pretty good chance of rain.
Now, pretty good chance when I looked yesterday was 30%.
It's 30%, but tomorrow afternoon it spikes up.
Okay.
So I'm thinking we're going to get a little bit of rain tomorrow.
I hope so.
Well, we have big plans for tomorrow, we hope. We hope we are going to go over to the land and have a perk test done.
Hope that's what's going on.
The earlier in the week plan was to meet over there at 8 o'clock Friday morning, which is tomorrow. And we have messaged to confirm that, and we hadn't heard back. So we really don't know what to do.
We're hoping he messaged me tonight and lets me know if the perk test is still on and what time to be there. Then when we leave there, we're going to our good friend Tracy
Britnell,
who is a phenomenal gardener, like a million times better than I am. And she's worked at our favorite nursery, Petals from the Past, forever. And she is doing a lot of stuff over at her place, a lot of permaculture, just trying to be super sustainable and start growing almost all their own food. She's got a French garden, and it's called some fancy word.
Protege.
Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was called something.
I don't know how I remember that.
I don't know how you remember that either.
I remember telling my friend Katie, we were talking about, I was actually talking about Katie possibly going with us.
Uh-huh.
And Katie's mom was there, and she was telling her mom, she said, Tracy's got an awesome kitchen garden because Tracy has a YouTube channel.
Yes.
And she said, it's a protege garden. And I said, I'd never heard of that until you were telling me about Tracy's garden.
Tracy's garden is
And she's
is
not
awesome.
far from us.
She's not far from us. And we'll put a link to her YouTube channel down below because, like,
you're going to video
everything-
some of it.
I'm going to video some of it, but, like, your old heirloom varieties, antique roses. And I'm not saying this to be nice. She is a expert. Not like she knows a lot. She's an expert. She knows her stuff.
Well, you know who I think is going to enjoy this trip a lot
Who?
and is not even aware that we're going?
Marycarl?
Marycarl.
I think she will too.
We have mentioned it, but I doubt it's fresh on her mind that that's what we're doing tomorrow, and she'll be excited.
And Tracy's, they recently bought a new farm.
They did.
And so it's in motion. It's not complete or anything like that, but it's still awesome.
Whose farm is ever complete?
Nobody's. That's true.
She's been she's been telling us for years that she wanted to come and visit us, and it just seems like we always have a project going on. And we say, oh, it's too wet, or it's too dry, or you can't come right now, or we're under construction. And I will be glad when I can let that part go.
You know what, though? We're getting better at it.
We're getting better, but we're never going to be without a project.
No, just like yesterday, for example. Yesterday, the local newspaper came by.
They did.
And I just knew you were going to be freaking out about the newspaper coming. Is it clean enough? Is it outside clean enough?
In my body, internally, I was squirrely.
Well, you did not show it. And I want to say this. I even got a little, I thought you forgot.
No, I was this close to telling you. At one point yesterday, I was this close to telling you, just tell me to just chill out because...
I couldn't tell it. I could not, because I even asked you, I said...
And I didn't
remember me
anything.
asking you what time are they coming?
He confirmed it this morning. He's going to leave his, come here at about 3:30.
And do you remember what I asked you?
No.
Do I need to do anything? Do you want me to do something? Because usually you're freaking out. And I want to say this. This is very common here in the South. And I had somebody...
People freaking out about...
I had somebody that prominent, this... how do I say it?
Just spit it out. We're all human.
It was Hunter Lewis is who it was. And he's a expert on everything. But antebellum homes, culture, different... I don't know what you call that. Anyways, he told me, and they live in Virginia, but he owns like several antebellum homes down in the South because he's infatuated with them.
I'm wanting you to get to the point.
But anyways, he said that Southern people, everything has to be perfect for people to come over. And then he lives in Virginia, and he said up north or the further up north, that's not the case. It's like, come on, y'all, come on in. But here in the South, everything's got to be perfect. The house has got to be super clean. You got to spend 2 days cleaning, blah, 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 blah. But he says up there, it's not like that.
I am inside my body. I am physically working on trying to not be so self-conscious about...
Well, I will say I was super surprised yesterday.
I'm not that way about myself as much as I am my dwelling, and it's just that I just want things to be in order. And it's not to impress anybody. It's not that. It's just that I feel like if somebody's coming here, then it needs to be right.
Well, I think the way he explained it to me is that's just passed down. All Southerners like that your mom's like that, and your grandmother would have been like that, and it's just a Southern thing that's just passed down family to family, and everything's got to be perfectly tip-top shape in order before somebody can come over.
Well, I'm talking to myself, and I'm just trying to get better about saying, hey, these people are human. They're just like you and I. They're no different. They live daily lives. They know what goes on. And a water hose not being rolled up is not going to hurt anybody's eyes.
It's not going to hurt anybody. And that's why I asked you yesterday. I swear I could not believe you were so calm yesterday.
I'm actively working on it. I am.
You did great yesterday.
I'm trying to do better. And not only that, but we had 5 loads of dirt brought in.
We did.
That I had worked on spreading yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And... Well, actually, yesterday and the day before, we rented a Bobcat, and we had some low areas that even though it hadn't rained, we knew once it does rain, it's going to show that
We
low
just need,
point.
it just need to get it fixed.
So we needed to have that filled in. And since we haven't had any rain, it was a good time to go ahead and get that dirt in here because everything's dry. They don't have a problem dumping it. They can go anywhere on our property they want to without getting stuck.
That's right.
So Brooke says.
Even the bobcat.
And so we had the dirt brought in, and our place is literally red.
Yes.
You come down the driveway, and it's red dirt everywhere.
It is red dirt
because
everywhere.
all of those low spots now have a higher level, and that's what needed to be done.
Yep.
You know, just over time, things erode and wash away, and so the newspaper was coming, and here I was with 5 loads of dirt that needed to be spread out, and I really controlled myself well.
You did really well.
I'm going to toot my own horn.
And then he got here, and he thought the place was beautiful.
Well, it's not that I want somebody to think it's beautiful.
Right.
I need to know in my mind that I'm satisfied with where we are.
That's true.
So my point is, I've told Tracy forever and ever and ever that she can't come here because we have too much going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to do better. And we haven't been able to allow visitors because of COVID and whatnot. And another reason we can't allow visitors is we don't have time.
And there's several factors about visitors. Listen, we love y'all so much, okay? We do. We absolutely love our fans to death. But we don't know some of y'all. Like, you know what I mean? We don't.
Well, my point is I can talk to a brick wall. It's not a problem with entertaining. It's a problem with stopping what we have going on to conversate, because Marycarl says I don't know when to shut up. And what should be a 10-minute conversation turns into 2 hours.
Right.
And therefore our day's gone. And so if we set, I'm not talking about Tracy. I mean, that's a different story.
Right.
But if we allowed everybody that asked, do y'all allow visitors?
It would be a lot, because we get that question asked probably more than anything. Do we allow visitors?
You know,
and if we say, it kind of puts us in a bad spot, because
can't
like I
allow
said, we
you and
love
not
y'all
you.
to death. Yeah, we can't allow you and not you. And
But
so,
you know what I'm hoping for?
And we tell people, if you tell somebody no, you seem like a jerk, and we're not being that way at all. Plus, too, we have thousands upon thousands of fans, and one of them may not be nice.
Well, I don't look at it like that, but you're always the worrier.
I'm always I guess because I'm the man and I'm the protector, and that's why I think
realize that
Yeah.
there are people that are not so good in the world. I realize that, but my main concern is just our time. And I feel like that once we get to the new farm, that maybe we can have a cog day.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. And too, this year, since I'm not working my full-time job, Cog Hill is my full-time job now. Especially here in the last 3 to 5 days, it's kind of broke loose. We're going to the Homestead conference in Virginia, so we'll be able to meet all our fans up in there. And that's a big conference. There should be hundreds of fans there. We're going to speak at one in Pensacola, and I'll try to put the link down below. I'll make sure they got one, but I think they got a link down below about the one in Pensacola.
I think we talked about this the other day.
But it's official now.
Okay.
It's October 24th in Pensacola, Florida, and I'll try to find the details and get it in this podcast, and we will be speaking at that one, so we'll be able to meet y'all there.
But I can't talk 2 hours.
No.
They're going to cut me off, I believe.
And then our buddy Chad at Adler Farm in Missouri, he's working on one that we're going to be a part of, but he has zero information. It's in the early stages of that, but that one will be, hopefully, fingers crossed, sometime this year as well. So that's 2 for sure, and possibly a third one that we'll be able to meet our fans too.
That's a lot going on.
That's a lot going on. And, of course, October will be the big one, and I hope Chad's in October because we got Homesteaders of America we're going to 1st October, and then the end of October, the Homestead meetup in Pensacola, Florida.
That's all right. I didn't have anything planned for the whole month of October.
So if we're traveling, we'll just have to be traveling, right?
That's right. That's right.
We got good friends and family that will come by and watch the farm. And
speaking of that, I'm taking care of a friend of ours' farm right now.
That's right. We all work together. We all babysit each other.
And I had to kind of we're going to take a trip here in the next couple of weeks over to Homestead.
There's another one. Yes.
You forgot about that, didn't you?
Just thought about it when you said that.
Well, Greg over at Hoss Tools has asked Jason to be on the Row by Row show.
Yep.
And we have 2 friends that we're feeding their farm for. One of them happens to be this week, and that will conclude Monday. And the second one is from the 7th of June to the 14th of June. And so we knew that window was going to be unavailable for us to do anything. So we're going to plan our Hoss trip in between those.
Yes. So we'll be going to
We
South
don't know
Georgia.
when it'll be, but it'll be
Yep.
at some
point in the near future, we'll be going to South Georgia, and we'll be on the Row by Row show.
And another thing going on is Marycarl's first little friend of her whole entire life.
Oh, yes.
She met when she was 2 years old at a little preschool. And the little girl came in halfway through the year in a 2-year-old class. And I can remember picking Marycarl up that day and her saying, "Mama, there's a new little girl in my class." And I said, "What's her name?" And she said, "Caroline." And I thought, because we live in a small town, and I thought, I know every kid named Caroline, and I don't know who this is. And she was like, "No." I said, "Is it so-and-so?" And I thought I knew who it was.
Yes.
And she said, "No, she's got blonde hair, and she's so sweet." And so she only went 2 days a week.
Yes.
So the next time it was time to go to school, all I heard about was Caroline. Caroline this, Caroline that. And I thought, oh my gracious, who is this? And I was so thrilled because she didn't want to be away from me. And I did not even want her to go to school at the time. But the teacher told me, if you don't let go of her for just a couple of hours, a couple of times a week, when it's time to start kindergarten, she's not going to let you go.
Prior to us homeschooling.
Prior to us homeschooling, then she's not going to let you go. And
it's going to be worse.
I felt like it was the best thing to do. And so this little girl named Caroline was now in her class, and she was looking forward to going to school, twice a week.
She was.
She was looking forward to it, and it just made us so happy. And we finally got to meet little Caroline. So here it is 9 years later, and Caroline and her family are relocating.
They are.
They have been in Selma since Caroline was 2 years old. She's 11 now, and they're moving to North Alabama.
Moving to North Alabama, and
here's the kicker.
Awesome people, and I can't tell you how thankful I am for Caroline.
Yes.
Especially those early years, because it was rough.
Well, they've been tight for
Yes.
quite some time. I know you guys have heard of Piper, but she and Piper have become friends here in the last couple of years. However, she and Caroline, they have been friends for a very long time.
They have.
So Caroline has multiple allergies. From food allergies, she's allergic to peanuts, she's allergic to shellfish, she's allergic to dogs, she's allergic to cats. Everything, it just seems like, is a sore subject when it comes to Caroline's allergies. She has to carry an EpiPen with her everywhere she goes. And, of course, Marycarl has always had chickens.
Yes.
So Caroline would come over here, and we'd let her name a chick, and she'd call it her chicken that lived at Marycarl's house. I can remember one in particular named Chocolate.
Oh, yeah, I remember
that's
Chocolate.
Actually still alive.
Chocolate is still alive.
And that chicken has to be 7 years old.
Yes.
Or at least 7 years old. And so we would, do little things like that to make Caroline feel like she had a pet because they didn't have any pets.
Correct.
So here in the past year, I would say.
Is it year or 2 years? Anyways, something like that. Year or 2 years.
Caroline has seemingly grown out of.
It's been a year because Christmas time.
No, Christmas is when Brooke got hers.
Oh, okay. Okay, I get confused.
Christmas is when Brooke got the second one.
That's Caroline's sister.
Yes, that's Caroline's sister. So they didn't have any pets because of the allergies, and they were kind of getting word from their allergy doctor that they may be able to expose her to some different animals that may not affect her. So when Caroline would come over here, chickens didn't affect her.
Nope.
Chickens did not affect her. She could handle a chicken. She wouldn't turn red. She wouldn't get rash, itchy, wouldn't have to take her medicine, whatever. So her parents agreed to let Caroline have a couple of chickens.
Yes.
Marycarl picked out a silky. It was white, and Caroline was just in love. She named it April. Marycarl had a silky named April. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. So Caroline got a white silky named April and 3 laying hens.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a little coop in their backyard. And Caroline, this has been their first pet.
Yep.
Her parents, of course, have had dogs in the past, but since Caroline's been alive, this is their first pets. So they are leaving Selma and going to North Alabama, only about 2 hours from where the new farm will be. But they don't have any way to get their chickens up there to North Alabama. And so as much and as, the family just means the world to us. The littlest thing that we could do would be to help them get their chickens situated.
Yes. So we're going to take their chicken coop for them.
So they'll be moving about the second week, I guess, of June. Yeah. And we're going to go over so the moving company doesn't have to, relocate the chickens and this, that, and other. Jason and I are going to load the coop up, and we're going to head to North Alabama with April, the 3 layers, and another black silky that her sister has named Luna. So that's on our agenda for this month as well.
So I got a lot going on this month.
So sorry to see Caroline go, but it's the best thing that's for their family. And,
yes.
With Marycarl being homeschooled, they weren't seeing each other as much as they have in the past. However, they communicate just about daily, so that won't change.
That won't change at all. Yeah, they communicate a lot, so yeah.
And her mom was just adamant, we've got to pay y'all. Let us pay for your hotel when y'all come up here, and let us at least pay for your place to stay. And you know what I told her?
What?
I said, your daughter's friendship to Marycarl has meant more to us than any payment could ever.
Absolutely correct there.
I mean, it's just, I feel like they'll be lifelong friends, and that's something that's not going to change. And Marycarl, to have Caroline's love for chickens is just...
Ain't that something?
Isn't it something?
Yes,
I mean,
it is.
I never would have dreamed in a million years that they would have added a coop with a few
wouldn't
chickens.
Either. Nope. 3 years ago, you would have told us that. We'd have said, pfft.
No, not going to happen. But she has no ill effects to chickens, and it's just worked out for the best. So.
That is awesome. That is
another
so awesome.
family with the chicken bug.
I wonder how many families we've.
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't want to know.
Well, it's not that I don't want to know. It's just I can't imagine.
I can't imagine either, because we do get a lot of messages and emails from people.
But it is crazy how the chicken math thing works. Because even with Caroline's family, they didn't intend on having 5 chickens.
5 chickens. And
here they are, they've bought a little omelet fence to go around the exterior of their coop because they wanted more room for their chickens. It's just never ending.
It's never ending.
Once you get started and you realize how much joy they can bring you just by sitting outside and enjoying the sunshine a few hours a day, doesn't require a whole lot of effort to take care of them.
Nope.
And their medical care is not very much to it.
Nope.
So,
Yeah. Chickens are awesome.
They are.
Chickens are awesome.
So on another side note, this evening we had Butcher Box hamburgers.
We did have Butcher Box hamburgers. And we had something special, because I think we talked about the potatoes and the blue mashed potatoes.
I started to bring one with me, and then I said...
I'll probably say blue, they're purple. Mashed potatoes.
But you know what's weird?
What's that?
Okay, so Piper was here one day this week, and I needed to fix the girls something for lunch. And we had those mashed potatoes the night before. So I opened the pot up, and I go to, put them on the plate to heat them up. They weren't purple.
What color were they?
Smurf blue. And I literally they were in a red pot.
That's funny.
The pot was the color of this, and here these potatoes were Smurf blue. I don't know if it was the, what do you call it? Carbohydrates had kind of leached out of it a little.
No.
They were blue. But when I heated them up,
they turned
purple.
That's crazy.
And Piper loved them.
They ate them all.
There was
nothing ill up. I thought
we were going to have
leftover chicken on their plate, but there was no purple mashed potatoes left on their plate.
Or blue mashed potatoes. So
tonight,
that being the point, I had some Butcher Box hamburger meat thawed out, and I said, Jason, Marycarl said she doesn't want hamburger steak. What could we do with hamburger meat? Hint, hint. I don't cook on the grill. So, hint, what can we do?
Yeah.
What could we possibly do with hamburger meat? I'll grill them.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted you to say. So Jason grilled the hamburgers, and Marycarl, well, here we are with these big things of potatoes
How
in the
many
kitchen
pounds
floor.
of potatoes you think we got?
I don't know.
I want to say 65 to 70 pounds.
Marycarl said 70.
I think she's right. It's
Did
a
she
lot
get
of
that
potatoes.
from you?
She didn't get it from me because I'm just now
Well,
saying it.
Marycarl said there were 70 pounds of potatoes sitting in the
It's
kitchen
heavy.
floor.
It's heavy.
So Jason says, what are we going to have with the hamburgers tonight? Marycarl says, blue French fries.
Blue French fries.
Purple French fries, whatever.
Purple French fries.
So I fried up some blue or purple potatoes and made them into French fries. They were pretty cool looking.
They tasted phenomenal. And you can tell they taste like a potato, smell like a potato, but there's 100% difference in flavor between those and those russet potatoes you buy from the grocery store.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know what you call the
You can't put your finger on it, but if you had a blind taste test, there's no way you could not say those were better. There's no way. They're just totally, I say totally different. They're not totally different.
Well, it's not like a carrot from the grocery store versus a carrot from homegrown. It's not that extreme.
It's not that extreme, but it's different. It's different. And I told you, it almost tasted like you fried them in butter. They were really, really good.
Well,
very good.
My mom came over, and she just so happened to smell that grill cooking. And what y'all having for dinner tonight? How convenient. The grill just happened to be blowing that way. And she commented on how good that the potatoes tasted.
They're really good.
So
They're
we
very, very, very good.
We had a good dinner.
We did have a good dinner.
But getting back to Marycarl saying there were 70 pounds of potatoes, you know what her point was by saying that?
What?
She said, Mama, do you remember when we planted those potatoes? I said, yeah.
Yeah.
She said, we put the whole potato down in the ground.
We did.
She said, imagine if we had cut the eyes off and let them dry like, typical potatoes would be planted. She said, we'd have had 170
She's
pounds.
correct because, and I don't know this from experience, but this is what they say, is that when you plant the whole potato, you get small potatoes.
Okay.
When you cut it up, you get bigger potatoes.
Well, the blue ones were all, just a kind of a small size potato, but those red potatoes were big.
The red Norlands are big.
But we have not tried anything but the blue ones yet.
Marycarl's so obsessed with those purple potatoes.
I guess that's what it is. I mean, everything is about, there was no hesitation. What are we going to have with the hamburgers? Blue French fries.
She loves the purple potatoes right now.
And here I am calling it blue still. And I can remember when we first planted those potatoes, I like to go back and read some of the comments on the video. And somebody commented that purple potatoes were nasty.
Really?
Now, I don't know what planet you're from, but it tastes like a potato.
It tastes just like a potato.
And unless you don't like potatoes in general, there would be no reason to not like it.
I wonder if they thought they were maybe sweet potatoes.
I don't know, because that was their comment. And I thought, when I read it, I didn't say anything back because I tried, to keep things positive.
Yes.
But when I read it, I thought, I wonder why they said that.
I don't know why they said it, because
And
they're
it stuck
delicious.
in my head because I had in my mind that they might be nasty.
They're not nasty at all.
They're not nasty.
They're absolutely delicious.
They're going down just fine.
They are delicious.
So, after dinner tonight,
Yep.
we did have the newspaper come yesterday, and it just so happens.
Well, the newspaper guy came in, and he drove a gorgeous 1969 Ford F-100 pickup truck. And it was like that teal blue color.
My favorite color.
It looked just like not our Airstream, but our Yellowstone camper, the Can-Ham, that color. And I've been telling Brooke for a while now that I wanted an old farm truck. And this was exactly what I was looking for. Exactly. I didn't care. I wanted something either in the 60s or earlier. I didn't want... the 70s would have been okay if I could have found the one I like, but anything mid-70s and up, I didn't want. I want the old classic vintage. That's what this truck was. It was patina, and that's what I want. I don't want no fancy, glossy paint job. I want this thing to have a little bit of rust on it, some patina on it, different color paints possibly. And I just love that. It's just history. It all has a story to it. And I've been wanting one. And the main reason I want one is for the new farm. Almost like a marketing thing. Almost like a sign, advertisement. You know, kind of like if you see this old truck with that Cog Hill sticker on it, you know that's us. That's going to be like I won't say a logo, but part of us. And that's what I was wanting, especially if we get into flower farming.
So when he told me this, I'm thinking everything that we've ever bought that has been old and been restored has been done to the heels.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, we're going to have to gut this thing, and we're going to have to put new upholstery in it, and we're going to have to, put in a new exhaust. I'm just seeing a lot of work.
A lot of work.
A lot of work ahead, because we have redone the old Yellowstone camper.
Yes.
We plan to redo the Airstream, and that's going to get in the works hopefully this next week.
The sandblaster guy finally said to bring it.
And then we've had a few Jeeps that we've went and spent a whole lot of time on. And reaped the monetary rewards at time to sell it. But it's just consumed a lot of our time. And so I looked at it like, okay, don't really know that we can take on a project right now.
And plus, I don't know if you guys have ever looked for old trucks. I mean, for the most part, if you don't find one that's rusted all out and don't run, they're not cheap. Honestly, they're not. Even a 60 or 70 model Ford, they're still not. I don't know what you consider cheap, but I mean, to me, they're not cheap. I mean, for what I want to do with it,
well, most of the time you'll see something that, might be several $1,000s, but it doesn't run.
Or needs a transmission.
I do have the motor sitting in the back of the truck.
Oh, yeah, that kind of thing.
So here's the newspaper guy, and Jason starts talking to him about the truck, and and we're talking about the farm in the meantime, and he's like, man, I had always wanted one of those old trucks, and I've been thinking here lately that we might want one to sell produce out of at the new
that's
farm.
What I want to do.
Just carry on conversation. Well, how much are you wanting to put into one? What kind of, what are you thinking? Are you wanting it running already? You wanting a project? Mm-hmm. And I'm listening thinking.
He said, I got a 69 Ford, just like this one, except this one is actually a better back in the day, a level up trim package and all that. I got one that we got that my son has been tinkering around with and got it running. And he said, I got too many projects, because this guy is a car fanatic, and his son
is 16 or 17,
just turned 16 years old. And y'all, I've been in the car business for a long time. I've been a service manager at a GM, Cadillac, GMC, now Chevrolet dealership for 22 years. This young man is as good as a technician mechanic that I've ever seen in my life. He's passionate about it. He is extremely smart and just blew my mind. Still right now, it blows my mind. This young man is awesome.
So we didn't meet him yesterday. We met the dad and another son.
That's right.
And so he's telling Jason about the truck, and he's telling Jason, what it would involve for us to get it, and this, that, and the other, and everything sounded good. And he said, just give me a call sometime one afternoon, and y'all, maybe can come over and take a look at it, and da-da-da. Well, so last night, Jason got to looking on YouTube at some videos that he had told Jason that his son had made. Mm-hmm. And that's when Jason figured out this guy really was good.
This
at
son's
16
good.
years
16 years old. This son's really good.
He saw some videos of him working on a vehicle, and he was just floored. And I came in from talking to some neighbors, and Jason was like, Brooke, look at this guy. Well, of course, it didn't mean anything to me that he had a stethoscope in his ears listening to the motor.
And check the lifters.
I mean, I knew that was, not your normal kind of technician
that's
stuff.
Not,
but
for
Jason
a 16-year-old kid, that's not normal.
He was like this.
Yeah.
So I could tell that he was getting more and more interested in this truck situation.
I was getting more interested in this truck situation.
So we talked about it, and I said, well, hey, I'll find out when we can look at it. And so I messaged the guy, and he said, yeah, sure, you can come this afternoon. That was today.
Yep.
So after we finished our Butcher Box hamburgers and our purple French fries,
that's right,
we drove over to their house and looked at this project truck.
It is a project truck.
But it won't necessarily be our project.
No, I talked to them about it, and I said, the truck runs. The truck runs, it idles, but it still needs a lot of work. It does need a lot of work. In order to
be a daily driver.
In order to be a daily driver, it needs some work done. And I told them, I said, hey, look, get me a list up and what you would charge me to fix it and get it a daily driver and give me a price, and we'll talk. And so that's what they're working on.
He is not... he's not making mechanic money or technician money.
No.
I wouldn't say. He's just enjoying doing this as a hobby.
Yes.
And he likes to get things back to good running shape.
Yeah,
So-
and he's, I mean, talking about, I just can't explain it
So
per
not
se,
only
but he's good, really
not
good.
only is Jason not a technician, we don't have time to take on a learning project.
Yes.
So he's
Even
willing.
though, I'll tell you, even though I would love to do it,
Well, he said he would teach you anything you wanted
he
to
said I
know.
can come over. If I decide to get it, I can come over.
And
I can
learn.
film whatever I want, and I can help out when I want, and that kind of stuff.
So we left their house under the condition that he's going to figure out a list of everything that he thinks that would need to be replaced.
Mm-hmm.
And the parts are fairly inexpensive.
Yeah, on those older model trucks like that, the parts are not that bad. The brake system is what's going to cost more than anything, and
But you got to be able to stop.
you got to be able to stop.
You got to
So,
be able to go, and you got to be able to stop.
It is a 69 Ford, has a 351 in it that come out of an 80 model. It's 80s, but we're from the casting numbers. According to this young man, he looked the casting numbers up, and he said he's pretty sure it come out of an 80 model. He even looked the VIN up and found out where it was bought. You know what city it was
I
bought
heard him say
in.
something about a limited edition.
Limited edition. I mean, how he knows how to do all this, beyond me. But he's on all these forums. He's got all the schematics. He knows all the wiring diagrams. He can rebuild carburetors. This is a 16-year-old young man that can rebuild motors, carburetors. It just blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind. And I told him, I said, look, I'm telling you, if this is what you love to do, you can make a lot of money doing this, because there are no, from my experience, and I used to talk to service managers across the state, and this is a nationwide thing. There are no technicians and mechanics out there, especially young ones like that, in this field, and that he could make as much money as he wanted to. He could.
Well, money, may not even be the bottom line for him.
May
It's
not
what he
be.
loves to
It's
do.
what he likes to do. Yes.
And right now he's doing it just piddling around. And to think that he's 16 years old and he's got people that are dropping off vehicles at his house to work on them from word of mouth.
And it's all old stuff. I mean, that's what's so awesome to me. It's all old stuff. I mean, his dad said that his dad is a Volkswagen fanatic, a car fanatic in general, but he's known around town for Volkswagens, and he has the old Volkswagen bus, and he's got several of those, but his son can pull the engine out of one of those in 45 minutes. That's just crazy.
He just acted like
Nuts.
it was just simple, like
Nuts.
everybody should be able to do this.
Yes.
It's not that I'm talented. That's kind of the way he came off to me.
It does come off that. I don't think he realizes how good he is at what he's doing. And I think I may have opened him and his dad's eyes up tonight.
Well, his dad told us when we first got there, I said, I don't know if you are aware of this or not, but you are truly talented. I said, when Jason opened up some of your YouTube videos and he started watching, he realized how good of a technician you are at 16 years old.
Yeah.
And so the dad says, well, you're around your child all the time. You always know that they're talented, but to hear somebody else say it really opens up a whole new dimension.
Right.
And so I feel like after talking to you tonight and seeing it from an outside perspective, that they may now realize that he really is talented.
And I'm not going to put any links to their YouTube channel or anything like that, because that's kind of,
it might be their privacy.
I think that's kind of their privacy. So just take my word for it. The young man's really, really good. And so we are very interested in this truck. we want an old farm truck. This is what we want. We want something that we can piddle around on the farm. Something if we want to go Sunday driving in, we can. if we want to put some produce in the back once we get the farm going. I want people, if we do get the flower farm going, I want that truck to be a staple of our farm. And when people see that truck, they're automatically going to think of Cog Hill Farm. They can see us coming.
You know
we
what
roll
I
up to the
noticed?
farmer's market. What's that?
It has a sliding glass back
Has a
window.
sliding, which was a
That must be a big upgrade.
It was an upgrade.
I've
the
never
whole
seen
truck,
that.
He showed me everything. The chrome bezel around the tail lights, because his dad's got the exact same truck, except
It's long wheelbase.
It's a long wheelbase, and it's a base model, and it has none of the chrome options on it.
Huh.
It's just the truck is
The bed's not rusted
the
out.
bed's not. There's hardly any
There's
rust
one
whatsoever.
little rust spot on the door at the bottom. It's
He
about
said
this
that's
big.
very, very common on those trucks because the water would come in the door from the outside, and that's where it would come out. And that was that was just common. But that's the only rust on the entire truck. And like me and him talk, I like the rust on it.
Well, as long as we look at this as kind of like not restoring it back to the factory specifications,
I want this to be I want
to be able to hook the chicken coops up to
that's
and
what I
haul it
want.
around.
But I want it to be, somewhat dependable. When we crank it, it cranks, and when we hit the brakes, it stops.
Well, you know what I want?
That's what I want, but I don't want it to look immaculate. I don't want it to look like something that's on Barrett Jackson car auction,
like our past Jeeps.
You
know what I want?
What's that?
Marycarl to learn how to drive in.
I want, and this thing is a automatic. I'm telling you, this truck is. He told me, he said, whoever bought this truck in 1969 paid a lot of money for this truck. He said this truck was, according to the VIN or his research, this truck was special built for this person. Has automatic, the original motor's not in it. It's got a 351. He told me what the original motor was. I don't know. I've been a GM service manager for 22 years. I absolutely know nothing about Ford products because that's all
I can
around.
guarantee you know more than I do.
But listen to him talk, it's got me really excited about it.
Well, I did realize that the tailgate opens up and down.
Yes.
And that meant a lot to me.
The doors open. I mean, everything.
I thought the taillights were cool too. They're kind of like recessed.
They are.
And it's almost like they're riveted in.
It's so cool. I mean, they don't make cars like that anymore. They really don't. And I just really like it. I really, really like the truck a lot. If you were to look at it now, you would think I was nuts. You probably would.
Well, I opened the front door and I said, Marycarl, I don't know if we want to get into this or not because they've got a lot of stuff stored.
They got a lot of stuff in the truck because they've had the truck for several years. They haven't driven it. It was a project.
It's their storage.
And so
for
they've
other
been
parts.
using it for storage for other parts. And so that's what's in it.
But they said they would have all that cleaned out. So.
They would have all that cleaned out. We made some good friends, and I really think that, I trust them. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
I trust them.
And we've known of them for a long time.
Yes.
And we've never, spent time with them or been to their house, and they've never been here. But, when you live in a small town, you just kind of...
Right.
You feel like comfortable waving to somebody, and even though you're not, first name basis.
Yes.
But it's good to know that there are people out there that, just willing to help you out. And I felt like that's the way he was.
I really felt like that's the way he was. He was almost like he was.
He said he had no plans of letting it go, but he really didn't need it.
Yeah.
And if somebody wanted to pass it on and make it, usable, then he wanted to let it go.
He wanted to let it go. And the young man, I felt like he was acting like
he wanted to fix it for somebody.
Yeah, like it was his. He's fixing it for himself, but he's fixing it for me. You know what I mean? That he was spending his own money on the truck, and he wanted to do it right, but at the same time, he was not going to rip me off or anything like that. And it was being super truthful. He would tell me anything about the truck.
Oh, sure.
He showed me the bad stuff and he showed me the good stuff.
Oh, it wasn't a monetary thing at all.
No.
There's no doubt about that. It wasn't like we were at a car dealership and they were trying to sell it to us. It was, I don't really care if you take it or not, but if you do, I'm willing to help you out.
I'm willing to help you out. And he even said that I can come over there anytime I want to. if we decide to get it and he starts working on it and I can help out, I can watch whatever I want to do with it.
Well, I will tell you that I went with you today and we did talk to the family and I enjoyed talking to them, but working on trucks is not my thing.
Yeah, I understand.
So it may be that I'm here freeze drying purple potatoes while you're wrenching on your Ford
He even
truck.
asked me, he said, do you want to do it here or do you want me to bring it to your
I heard him
place?
saying that and I was like thinking to myself, where are we going to park a truck at our place?
Yeah, if I had a shop. To work on it. If I had a shop, we could definitely do it. But I told him, I said, your place is just as good as mine. I said,
Well,
matter
he's
of fact,
probably got
yours
more
is,
tools than-
you're flatter ground than I am where we'd work on it here.
That's right. So that's kind of what's in the works as far as
It's a new farm truck
a new farm truck.
that I hope works out. I really do hope it works out.
Well, I hope it does. If that's what you want, then, it kind of came on kind of suddenly that you were interested in one, even though you've been thinking about it a long time.
Yeah.
But I almost feel like it fell in your lap.
It did because, like I've told you, I've been looking, and I just don't want to spend $10,000 on a farm truck. I really didn't. And every
this
now
thing
and then,
is priced very low. It's little or nothing.
It is.
And it's not like if we decided that we weren't going to sell produce out of it, it would be no problem for us to just use it around the farm.
It would not be at all. I mean,
There'd be no hard feelings.
No hard feelings at all.
And our chicken tractor, our egg mobile,
Yes.
mobile egg mobile, we got it moved over to the farm
We
this
did,
week.
and that's going to be the next video coming out.
It will be, and it will be perfect if we have an implement hooked up to the back of the tractor, say.
And always something's hooked to the back of the tractor. And so we'd have to take the box plate off or the bush hog off. And I don't know about you guys. It's not hard work, but sometimes it's frustrating dropping those implements on and off.
Well, so right now, I bush hogged half of the 40 the other day.
Yes.
The bush hog's still on there because
Yes.
the other half needs to be bush hogged.
Correct.
If we needed to move that tonight,
Yes.
we would have to unhook that
Unhook the bush hog,
move it, and then
it,
hook the bush hog
and
back
hook the bush
up.
hog back up.
If we had this little farm truck sitting there,
We could
That
just
we
use a little
could-
farm truck.
yeah,
We could.
I'm starting to come around.
Could. And then you could even actually leave the little farm truck hooked up to the chicken mobile.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea because I want to kind of get some patina on it and make it look, kind of.
Yes.
Everybody says that our farm's kind of whimsical and it's kind of
This
different.
truck
and
is going to match our whimsical
it needs a bottle tree coming out the
to
top
the
of it.
T. I'm telling you.
And some flags hanging off
Speaking
of
of
it.
bottle tree.
Bottle tree,
You spoke of bottle tree.
right?
I've had, especially this week, I don't know how many people ask me about our bottle trees.
I've answered a lot of questions
Have
too.
you? I don't want to get off subject, but you mentioned it, and that just made me think about it. We have several. Well, we got 3, I know, but we took.
You remember where we got them from?
We got them from an estate sale.
We did.
And they're just whimsical for us. Now,
Yeah.
the original
We
purpose.
talked about this one time.
We may have,
We
but
did.
we've had a lot of people ask this week. And I think it's because I'm doing a ton of TikToks now. And so if you want to see us daily, go check out TikTok because I'm doing a lot of little short 1-minute videos there that go along just to fill in the gap of in between the vlogs.
I'm trying to remember why we even. That's what we went out to that estate sale for. Was
We
initially
went out there to get because they had one pictured and we
they
saw the
had
bottle
one
shop.
pictured, and I said, "Yes, I want that. Where can I come see it?" And it was in Orville, Alabama, which was about 30 miles from here, maybe 40. And so we drove out there, and we get there, and there's little bottle trees like ding, ding,
Yes.
ding, ding. And his mama
Two
had
big ones,
passed
though.
away. Do you remember
Yes.
that? And they were trying to clean the place up, and they had no interest in some of the things that were
Yep.
obviously, just a little quirky things for her. They had bottles all over them.
Yep.
And so, what about this one? Is this one for sale too? Yeah, that one's for sale. I'll throw it in for like $10. And
Yeah.
we hit the bottle tree jackpot.
We did hit the bottle tree jackpot, and we
Bottles
bought
and
all the
all.
bottle trees. And remember,
Bottles
we
and
also
all.
bought my granddaddy that one-man plow
that's right.
that he'd been looking forever for because he had one back in the 50s or 40s. Whatever it was.
one-man plow.
It's not electric. It's a gas power plow. And
It had a little motor on it.
it looks kind of like a tiller, but instead of a tiller on it, it has a plow implement on it, and that's what he always used for his garden. And he'd never been able to find one, and they had one.
And I had
and
been
it ran.
looking for one for him.
Yes.
I had searched Craigslist, and I really didn't know what he was looking for because he could just call it a one-man plow,
plow
with a motor on
Yeah.
it. And so we found it there. What else did we get from those folks?
Gosh, I can't remember.
That witch's pot is what we call
Well,
it.
a witch's
It's
pot.
a huge black pot,
Yep.
and it looks like, something that you would...
But it had a crack in it, so you couldn't fill it up with water.
No, so we used it as a planter. Oh, goodness. We got some...
We racked up with some old stuff.
Mama's got the old furniture on her back porch.
That's right.
That we redid.
Yep.
Remember that?
It's like the old 50s
The
outdoor
glider,
furnitures, the glider and all that. Yeah.
And, I mean, when we got there, they probably didn't have to call anybody else because we cleaned them out.
We racked up.
We got that mannequin thing. Do you remember that?
Yes, I got a mannequin that's a metal mannequin that looks like a woman's bust or body.
Marycarl likes to play dress up. And
As a matter of fact, it's in a room right now with a dress
she
on it.
puts wigs on it, and
She
hangs,
freaked me out one time.
She hangs dresses on it.
She makes heads and stuff for it.
She makes
Faces. And dresses them up on this mannequin. Because it's just a metal bust of a figure of a woman. And she puts the dresses on it, whatever. And it has a wig on it.
I remember thinking...
And coming up here at not in the dark and just catch your eye. You gonna jump. You're like, which one?
I'm glad I hadn't seen it at night. But that's kind of something that today I'm glad we have because she enjoys it.
Yeah.
But at the time I thought, what do we need that for? And we were just adding to our junk collection.
Because it was whimsical.
It was whimsical. And we racked up. I mean, and those people saw no importance of this stuff that was there. They just wanted it gone.
Yeah, we got it though.
And they had an outhouse. Do you remember that? And I wanted it really bad. Do you remember it?
I remember the outhouse.
And then that somehow we couldn't get it here or whatever.
There was something we couldn't do about the outhouse. We couldn't get it though.
But we didn't get the outhouse. And it's probably a good thing because it would be in the midst of all of our 55 other buildings that we have down there.
That's true. But getting back to the bottle tree, people were asking what's the relevance of a bottle tree? Well, the original purpose of a bottle tree was to ward off evil spirits, and that's where the old timers would do. They would hang the bottles from the bottle tree.
Is that a southern thing?
I don't know. And used to, I think the original ones, they literally tied a string around the bottle and hung them from the tree, and they just dangled. They didn't.
Oh, did they make noise or something?
I think they did make noises, kind of like chimes almost.
Huh.
But the ones we got, is just welded rebarb, and you slide the bottles on top of it.
Guess what?
What's that?
They're going with us to the new farm.
They are going with us to the new farm.
I'm thinking about, we've taken one of them down because we did some renovation around the garden or something.
Yes.
And I'm thinking maybe our next trip over there, we ought to take it just to get us a little
We can
staple
do that.
going and put it by the camper.
Put it by the camper and right where the farm truck's going to park.
That's right.
I'm so excited about the farm truck.
Well, you'll
I
have
hope
to put
it works out so
Can you put a
bad.
picture of it in this podcast?
I will. I got a picture of it, and I'll try to put it.
And y'all don't say this thing needs to go to the junkyard because if it puts a smile on my man's face, then it's going to work out.
Well, we're really good about seeing
potential. I will say that when we bought our farm, there were a lot of people that looked at the farm as just didn't see the potential.
That we were close to.
Yes.
Yes.
And they thought that we were making a mistake.
They did.
And now their eyes are open and they say, I see what you saw.
Yes, they did.
I can now see it. Now that it's been mulched and some of, the grass has been cut and manicured. And each time we do a little something, I knew from the beginning what the outcome would be, but each time we do a little something, it opens my eyes more and more and just seeing our dream,
Yeah, I agree.
Come closer.
I agree 100%.
Because you're not going to take the quirkiness out of us.
That's never going to leave.
It's not going to leave. It's not going to leave.
Never.
We are not going anywhere.
No, there's gonna be flags around the garden.
Flags and bottle trees and old farm trucks and
license plates,
jacked up campers and
yes, all of it.
That's right. All right. Well, we hope y'all enjoyed this episode of the Cogcast podcast.
You got it.
I did well.
You did well.
So maybe Marycarl will join us next time if it's daylight. And
maybe so.
Anyway,
We'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be good.